Warning, this video contains spoilers for both Season 6 of The Walking Dead, as well as The Walking Dead comics. What's up guys, welcome to another I4 video. If you didn't watch part 1 yet, I'd recommend watching that first, as this video is a continuation of that theory. Link to that video is here. If you have seen that one, then you know my theory is that Michonne is the victim of Negan's bat. I received a lot of feedback from that first video. A lot of people agreed with it, a lot of people didn't. I decided to make this video to address a few points that some of you think rules out Michonne. I will also be going over additional evidence to support my theory that I had originally missed, which was pointed out to me from many different viewers in my last video. So let's get started. First, the evidence that supposedly rules out Michonne. I can't believe how many people believe this first theory, but it's the easiest one to prove wrong, so I'll start with it. Some people think that not seeing any hair during the POV scenes means that that person must not have any hair on their face. Let's take a look at episode 6 of season 6, when Daryl gets a point of view scene. As you can see, his hair is all over the place, yet none of it is in his first person scene. And why would it be? It's a completely unnecessary detail that adds nothing to the shot. Next, a lot of people have said that Negan doesn't kill women or children in the comics. This is incorrect. Negan is only against raping women, not killing them. In fact, he kills a woman named Holly, and has killed a younger teen in both the comics and the show. Even if he didn't physically kill the Hilltop kid, he was behind it. He was also about to put Maggie out of her misery in the show, and probably would have if not for Glenn begging him not to. I mean, think about it. Why would he even have 4 women in the lineup to begin with, if they were completely off limits? He could have just kept them in the van and only lined up the men. We have not received any confirmation yet as to what moral code TV show Negan is going to have. So in my opinion, women are not currently off limits at this point. Other people have also said that he doesn't kill people that are of a different ethnicity, for fear of being labeled as a racist. In the comics, he points to Glenn and says he's off limits due to his race. He then of course proceeds to kill Glenn, so not killing someone due to their race is not a valid argument either. Another argument is that Negan doesn't know that Rick and Michonne are a couple, so why would he kill her to get back at him? My response to that is simple. How did Negan know where they were going and that they were going there that day? I also don't recall Rick ever introducing himself to any of the Saviors, yet Negan's first line to Rick is,
"Hi. You're Rick, right? I'm Negan."
How did he know Rick's name? Could there maybe be a spy somewhere, either in Alexandria or even the Hilltop? It's very likely that he was aware of their relationship as well. Next up, no, Negan does not say he's taking it like a champ or taking it like a man. His exact words were,
Look, Dad, taking it like a champ.
He could have been talking to either gender. And yes, Michonne is tough enough to take it like a champ. She's one of only a few people I think could have gotten back up after the first hit. In the comics, Michonne has a pretty big role coming up in regards to Ezekiel and the Kingdom. But the show loves to swap out people's storylines from the comics, and that's exactly where Carol and Morgan are currently headed. I think one of them will end up taking Michonne's comic book storyline in the Kingdom. Some people are saying that if Michonne got picked, that Rick would definitely try to defend her. But after Negan's threat to harm Carl if anyone moved, there's no way he would risk any more harm coming to his son, not even for Michonne.
I want to show you the new world, Carl. I want to make it a reality for you.
He can't do that if he doesn't have any eyes left, right? Alright, about the point of view scenes in the van. Some people think it's Glenn's point of view, and that the head you see is actually Rosita's head, not Daryl's. I gotta say, I've watched this scene so many times and I have absolutely no idea how anyone is coming to this conclusion. If it were Glenn's point of view, you'd definitely be able to see more than one head. You'd be able to see at least 2 of them, more than likely all 3. Put yourself in the back of a van that size, and tell me that this is what you would see. There's no way. And Rosita would have to be sitting on Daryl's lap for that to be her head. She's clearly sitting somewhere on the right side from the point of view perspective, yet the head is on the left, exactly where Daryl is sitting in the very next scene. Why would she just be chilling in the middle of the van instead of propped up against the wall like everyone else? It just doesn't make any sense to me. The last argument I'm going to go over involves several other theories on YouTube right now. They involve shadows, lightings, and background objects like the RV, trees, rocks, other saviors, etc. For me personally, all of these theories are completely invalid, due to one major fact they don't take into account. The final kill scene was actually shot after the rest of the cast had already gone home. It was just Negan there. They had built some kind of contraption for him to hit with his bat, and it's highly unlikely that this device was moved to the exact place the victim had been kneeling. This would throw off the lighting, shadows, and background objects for sure. As far as the shadow on Rick's face right before Negan picks his victim, those last couple shots of the eeny meeny miny moe scene definitely appear to be jumbled up, and not in the correct order. We don't know for sure that Rick was the last person he walks by before choosing, so that theory is likely invalid as well. Okay, so now that we've gone over some of the most common arguments against my Michonne theory, let's add a couple more arguments to support it. This whole season has been about how Rick thinks he's on top of the world, that he's untouchable and no one can mess with him and his group. He's gotten comfortable and he's become cocky. The last episode of the season was all about pulling him off that high horse and beating his ego into the ground. There's only 2 people in the lineup whose deaths could fully achieve that goal for the episode: Carl and Michonne.
This is definitely your kid.
So stop this!
Hey! Do not make me kill the little future serial killer. Don't make it easy on me.
Rick doesn't say anything after this, for fear of him picking Carl. I also think that Carl is the only person in the lineup that Rick would absolutely try to defend and would not care if he died doing it. Negan recognized that, which is why he put out the threat to harm Carl if anyone moved, making it easy to kill Michonne without risking Rick trying to defend her. When it comes to symbolism, Christianity has played a pretty large part in the show. I think the scene of Rick and Michonne eating an apple together is one of these moments. Notice that Michonne takes a bite of the apple, then gives it to Rick, not the other way around. This is exactly how it happens in the Bible between Adam and Eve. While this act didn't result in Eve getting her head smashed in with a baseball bat, it did usher in mankind's descent into sin, and started the era of pain, suffering, and death. Also notice the symbolism between Adam and Eve's first days on Earth, and the title of the episode, The Last Day on Earth. Add to that the fact that the apple came from the hilltop, which they were led to by a guy named Jesus, and this clue becomes pretty mind-blowing. Speaking of Jesus, take a look at this scene when he's in Rick and Michonne's house, waiting to talk to them. He takes a picture of the queen down off the wall and admires it. Was it just a random filler scene, or could it be foreshadowing of Rick's new queen getting removed from the show? Next we go back to the Red River scene. In part 1, I discussed the amount of time they focused on the piece of Michonne's hair, but there were actually several other interesting clues during this scene. Back in episode 9, Rick is forced to cut off Jesse's arm with an axe in order to save Carl. Then in the Red River scene, he cuts the Michonne Walker's arm off so they can get past, also with an axe. Could this also be foreshadowing Michonne's death? It's also worth pointing out that the Michonne Walker was the 4th one in the Red Rover lineup, and Michonne was the 4th person in Negan's lineup. Shortly after the Red Rover scene, we see Rick in the RV looking at the piece of Michonne's hair he ripped off the Walker. He then looks down at the new bullet holes in the RV. Where else do we see bullet holes during this episode? Yep, the point of view scenes in the van. So Rick looks at bullet holes while holding Michonne's hair, and then we maybe see Michonne's point of view looking at bullet holes in the van? Makes sense to me. That leads us to the last piece of evidence I'll be going over in this video. During one of the van point of view scenes, we can see what appears to be the letter M in the light streaks through the bullet holes. Now you may be thinking, come on now, that's just a random coincidence. And you would probably be right, if this was the only time that we see a hidden M throughout the episode. Take a look at the kill scene after the first blow to the victim's head. Another letter M hidden in the blood streaks. Sure, this could still be nothing more than a coincidence, but getting 2 of them is at least worthy of pointing out. Alright, so as of making this video, AMC has officially started filming Season 7, which means someone will more than likely end up getting a valid spoiler for who died. If any of you don't want to wait till October to find out, the best place I've found for legit spoilers is a Facebook group called Walking Dead Spoilers. I've really enjoyed being a part of this group. The members are all polite and respectful, and the admins are awesome. It's just a great place to hang out with other Walking Dead fans. I'll leave a link to that page in the description. Just be warned though, if you want the shock value that comes with waiting, I don't recommend joining this group. The spoilers they put out are always on point, and it's very likely that they're going to find out who dies for sure before the episode airs. As always, thanks for watching, let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.
Michonne did steal that protein bar.
Oh, I know.